Some celebrities fall from grace and come back stronger than ever. These aren't those celebrities. Welcome to Seen and Heard, where we break down the wild, the weird, and the WTF of pop culture. Today, we're counting down 15 celebrity comebacks that fizzled out, flopped hard, or just made people go, wait, they're still trying? Iggy Azalea. From chart topper to chart who? There was a time when Iggy Azalea had the music world in a chokehold. In 2014, she became the first artist since the Beatles to hold the top 2 spots on the Billboard Hot 100 with her debut singles, Fancy and Problem. She was everywhere. Red carpets, talk shows, memes. For a brief moment, she really was that girl. But fame is a fickle friend. Iggy's follow-up projects didn't stick. Her album, In My Defense, flopped hard, peaking at number 50, a nosedive from her earlier success. Her once iconic sound now felt dated, and fans didn't seem interested in another go. She tried reviving her career through social media beefs, questionable collaborations, and even launching a risque OnlyFans, but none of it hit the mainstream again. In the end, Iggy didn't crash and burn, she just quietly faded into the background, which might be worse.
Sharon Stone. From Oscar buzz to Basic Instinct 2. There was a time when Sharon Stone was Hollywood. The 90s were her golden era. Magazine covers, red carpets, and an Oscar-nominated turn in Casino. And let's not forget Basic Instinct, the movie that turned her into a pop culture legend. You know the one? Yeah, that scene. By 1995, she had a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but the 2000s weren't as kind. Between Catwoman and Basic Instinct 2, things got rough. Critics panned the sequel so hard it pretty much ended her A-list run. Stone did pop back up in films like The Disaster Artist and The Laundromat, proving she's still got chops, just not the same spotlight. Her era didn't end with a bang, more like a shrug. Still iconic, but the comeback, it never quite clicked. Ashlee Simpson. From Billboard to Backstage. There was a time when Ashlee Simpson wasn't just Jessica Simpson's little sister, she was a full-blown pop star in her own right. Her debut album Autobiography topped the Billboard 200 and went triple platinum. Songs like Pieces of Me had teens everywhere feeling deeply emotional in the backseat of their mom's minivans. Her edgy, anti-glam vibe made her stand out. She was the cool, rebellious counterpart to her older sister's bubblegum brand. But then came Saturday Night Live, the infamous 2004 lip-sync debacle. You know, where the wrong backing track played and she awkwardly did a jig before cutting to commercial, was a career nosedive in real time. It became one of early internet's first viral disasters. Suddenly, Ashlee wasn't a rising star. She was a punchline. She tried bouncing back with another chart-topping album, I Am Me, and even launched a short-lived reality show. But public perception had already shifted. By the late 2000s, her music career had flatlined. Her last solo release came in 2012 and didn't chart. These days, she's part of a musical duo with her husband, Evan Ross, Diana Ross's son. But let's be real, it never hit mainstream radar. Ashlee's pop era came fast and flamed out faster. A perfect storm of bad timing, worse PR, and one very unfortunate live TV moment. 12. Fergie. From chart-topping Duchess to Miss Notes. There was a time when Fergie was everywhere, the voice of the Black Eyed Peas, the solo queen behind the Duchess, an album that gave us London Bridge, Big Girls Don't Cry, and Fergalicious. She wasn't just on the charts. She owned them. But after that, she kinda disappeared. Sure, she popped up here and there, but nothing quite stuck. Her 2017 comeback album, Double Duchess, had the hype, but none of the hits. The lead single barely cracked the top 40. The rest, blink and you miss them. And then came that national anthem, the 2018 NBA All-Star Game, the jazz-inspired version of the anthem that made even the players cringe. It went viral for all the wrong reasons. Fergie was still trying. Music, fashion, even motherhood in the public eye. But the magic, it just didn't return. The Duchess didn't lose her crown. She just stepped away, and the charts moved on. Paris Hilton, the fame that faded. Once upon a time, Paris Hilton didn't just live in the spotlight, she was the spotlight. From the simple life to every tabloid and red carpet in the early 2000s, Paris was the queen of reality TV and pop culture's favorite heiress. The catchphrases, the paparazzi chases, the chihuahuas in handbags. She basically invented influencer culture before the word even existed. And if you're into these wild celeb story arcs, from mega fame to low-key fade-outs, go ahead and hit that subscribe. We've got plenty more where this came from. But over time, the public image wore thin. Her 2006 music debut fizzled. Reality shows came and went. And despite her loyal fan base, Paris slowly became more brand than buzz. She's had ventures in DJing, fragrance empires, NFTs, and even a YouTube doc, This is Paris, that revealed a more raw side of her life. But the viral spotlight she once owned, it moved on. Her legacy isn't gone. She's just more nostalgia than news. Paris may have walked so others could run, but her comeback, it never quite landed.
Number 10, Vanilla Ice, the one-hit wonder who melted down. You know that sound? That's the anthem of a man who topped the charts and then face-planted off them just as fast. Vanilla Ice, real name Rob Van Winkle, exploded in 1990 with Ice Ice Baby, becoming the first hip-hop artist to top the Billboard Hot 100. He was young, he was flashy, and for a hot second, he was rap for suburban America. Until people realized he was about as authentic as a gas station mixtape. Critics tore him apart, his credibility crumbled, and his backstory turns out a little too manufactured. Said he grew up in the streets, but it was actually middle-class Dallas. Oops. His attempts to pivot were even messier. He tried to go punk, rock, even nu metal. But no one was buying it. By the late 90s, Vanilla Ice had become the poster boy for musical punchlines. To be fair, he never really stopped performing. He just stopped being taken seriously. Today, he pops up on nostalgia tours and reality shows, kind of like a musical Bigfoot sighting. We see him, we nod, and we pretend Ice Ice Baby wasn't once everywhere. Katherine Heigl, the star who talked herself out of stardom. At one point, Katherine Heigl was everywhere. She lit up Grey's Anatomy as Izzy Stevens, charmed audiences in Knocked Up, and seemed poised to be the next rom-com queen. But then, she opened her mouth. Heigl publicly trashed Knocked Up as sexist, withdrew her own name from Emmy consideration, and clashed with the Grey's writers, all in record time. Hollywood took notes. She was labeled difficult, ungrateful, and worst of all, unbankable. The rom-com offers dried up, the dramas flopped, and the few comebacks she tried, buried under years of bad press. To her credit, Heigl later admitted regret and tried to reset her image with streaming shows and interviews. But in an industry where reputation is currency, her account was already overdrawn. Now she's more of a, hey, whatever happened to, than a leading lady. Number 8, Lindsay Lohan, the comeback that could have been. You know what's harder than a comeback? A comeback when everyone's watching you fall apart in real time. Lindsay Lohan was the it girl of the early 2000s. Mean Girls, Freaky Friday, paparazzi flashes, tabloid headlines, and red carpet chaos. She wasn't just a teen star, she was a full-blown phenomenon. But between DUIs, rehab stints, and courtroom walkouts that felt more like press tours, Lindsay's career hit the skids fast. Even her 2007 comeback movie, I Know Who Killed Me, turned into a punchline. It swept the Razzies, not in a good way. She tried to reboot. Reality shows, music, a beach club, none of it stuck. Then came a flicker of hope. Her return in Netflix's Falling for Christmas in 2022. Cute, festive, and, for a second, it looked like the comeback was really happening. But it was more of a snowflake than a snowball. Quiet press, meh reviews. And just like that, the hype melted. Lindsay's story isn't over, but the big comeback moment? Yeah, we're still waiting. Drop a Christmas tree in the comments if you actually watched Falling for Christmas. We won't judge. Maybe. Number 7, Misha Barton, the it girl who ghosted Hollywood. There was a moment in the early 2000s when Misha Barton wasn't just famous, she was the moment. From glossy Teen Vogue covers to red carpet royalty, she became the face of early 2000s cool thanks to her breakout role as Marissa Cooper on The OC. Her aesthetic? Effortlessly tragic. Her character? A mess in low-rise jeans. And fans lived for it. But behind the scenes, things weren't nearly as golden. Misha left The OC at the height of its fame, citing creative differences, burnout, and maybe just a bit of chaos. Then came a string of everything you don't want. Legal troubles, paparazzi meltdowns, a very public hospitalization. Her star power dimmed almost overnight. In 2013, she attempted a return, indie films, theater, a few forgettable guest roles. Then she tried to reboot her relevance with The Hills' New Beginnings, but even that fizzled out. Her comeback didn't crash and burn, it just quietly stalled out, like a car in neutral. Still gorgeous, still talented, but the Misha Barton era, that was a blink and you missed it kind of magic. Number 6, Ellen DeGeneres. From Queen of Nice to canceled twice? Ellen DeGeneres used to be America's daytime sweetheart. Her talk show was a cultural reset, dancing with celebs, feel-good giveaways, viral clips before viral was even a thing. She'd survived a risky coming-out moment in the 90s, only to come back stronger in the 2000s. But then came 2020. Suddenly, the internet flipped the switch. Allegations of a toxic workplace behind the scenes started popping up, from former staff, producers, even bodyguards. Suddenly, the Queen of Kindness was being called, well, kind of a nightmare. Memes started flying. Celebrities awkwardly distanced themselves. Even guests looked tense. The vibe had changed. Ellen addressed it on air, but the damage? Already done. Ratings plummeted, buzz turned into backlash, and in 2022, after 19 seasons, the show ended, not with a bang, but a whimper. She tried pivoting to wildlife docuseries and even hinting at a return to stand-up. But the shine? It's gone. Turns out, when your whole brand is kindness, the fall hits a little harder. Number 5, Ja Rule. From hitmaker to headline for all the wrong reasons, there was a time when Ja Rule was the sound of the streets. Those gravelly hooks on every radio. The collabs with Ashanti, chart-topping. You couldn't escape him. And honestly, no one wanted to. But fame? It's a slippery thing. Enter 50 Cent. And with him came one of the pettiest, most brutal beefs in hip-hop history. 50 didn't just diss Ja, he torched his whole image. Suddenly, Ja Rule was getting clowned for his voice, his lyrics, his look, everything. It was a takedown so public, people forgot the hits. Just when the heat cooled off, Fire Festival happened. Yep, Ja's attempt to go from rapper to tech mogul exploded into one of the most embarrassing disasters the internet has ever seen. Cheese sandwiches, disaster tents, influencers trapped in chaos, and Ja denying everything while the memes wrote themselves. He's since tried to lean into the cringe, doing commercials, dropping in on Twitter beefs, even embracing the jokes, but the comeback never came. Ja Rule didn't fade. He became a punchline. From platinum plaques to fire flames. Number 4, Tara Reid, the party girl Hollywood left behind. Tara Reid didn't just fall from grace. She stumbled out of the club, got papped doing it, and ended up in the bargain bin of Y2K fame. For a hot second, she was everywhere. The American Pie franchise made her a star, the red carpets made her a fixture, and the tabloids, well, they made her a warning sign. Tara wasn't just acting. She was living like a celebrity parody of herself. Loud nights, wilder mornings, and an image that spiraled out of her control faster than you can say late-night TMZ clip. She tried to pivot, from teen rom-coms to indie thrillers and later, Sharknado. Yep, Sharknado, a move so absurd it almost worked. Almost. For a minute, we thought Tara was in on the joke, but her interviews were scattered, her comeback attempts messy, and instead of reinventing herself, she became the punchline again. Cosmetic surgery misfires, failed fashion ventures, and a public image so locked in 2002 that Hollywood stopped trying to update her software. She had fame, she had opportunity, but what she didn't have was a plan. Now, Tara's not so much a comeback story. She's a nostalgic flashback, a reminder of when being famous was easier and losing it was even faster. Number 3, Guns N' Roses, the band that blew up, then just blew it. There was a moment when Guns N' Roses weren't just a rock band. They were the only rock band that mattered. Late 80s, early 90s, they were dangerous, loud, and unstoppable. Appetite for Destruction wasn't just an album, it was an atomic bomb dropped on the music scene. And Axl Rose? He was the sneering, strutting face of rebellion. But here's the thing about chaos. It doesn't stay cool forever. The band's wild energy, it turned toxic. Infighting, missed shows, stadium crowds left waiting for hours because Axl wasn't ready. And then, poof, Slash was gone. Duff was gone. The magic was gone. By the mid-90s, GNR had gone from the voice of rock to a punchline about rock star egos. Axl tried to keep the name alive, and we got Chinese Democracy. After 15 years of hype, it landed with a meh. Fans didn't riot, they just moved on. For years, the band was a ghost of itself, with Axl fronting a revolving door of session players. Until the reunion. Axl, Slash, Duff, back together. Big tours, big money. But here's the thing, they never got back that raw, dangerous spark. Guns N' Roses went from the most exciting band on earth to a nostalgia act. They didn't just fade, they proved you can't outrun your own legend. Number 2, Roseanne Barr, from sitcom queen to Hollywood outcast. There was a time when Roseanne Barr ruled TV. Her sitcom wasn't just popular, it was the #1 show in America. Relatable, funny, unapologetically brash, Roseanne was the queen of prime time. But in 2018, one tweet flipped the crown. It wasn't a bad joke, it was a career ender. Overnight, headlines exploded, the backlash was instant, and ABC pulled the plug on her hit reboot the very next day.
Thought the bitch was white! Damn it!
Roseanne tried damage control, interviews, apologies, stand-up gigs, but the TV world had moved on without her. And what was once her throne? It got recast, renamed, and renewed, without Roseanne Barr. From sitcom royalty to Hollywood exile, all in 280 characters. If you're enjoying the ride, hit subscribe. Ready for number 1? Number 1, Charlie Sheen. From winning to losing it all. Charlie Sheen wasn't just a TV star. For a while, he was TV. 2.5 Men made him the highest paid actor in the game, and his bad boy rep, fans ate it up. But in 2011, Sheen went nuclear. Public meltdowns, bizarre interviews, tiger blood rants. He turned into a walking headline factory. And instead of damage control, Charlie doubled down. CBS booted him. His co-stars distanced themselves.
Come on, everyone deserves a 24th chance.
Sure, anger management gave him a lifeline, but it never hit the same. Health scares, legal battles, public feuds, it all piled up. And the guy who once embodied Hollywood excess became its cautionary tale. Today, Charlie pops up here and there, cameos, nostalgic nods, but the winning era, long gone. That's our list. Now it's your turn. Who do you think had the biggest fall? Drop it in the comments.